Good morning, YouTube. How's everybody doing? Hopefully better than me. I was just a second. I have to text SB so he can join us. I was sick all weekend, and I'm still not feeling great. I had a 24-hour stomach bug. I got sick Saturday afternoon and was stayed in bed all the way till Sunday night. Started feeling a little better last night. Anyway, all right. Let me try to get through this. Let's remember to share the screen. I had a good time doing this on Friday. I forgot to share the screen, of course. Somebody told me, but let's share the screen this time. And you guys don't have to endure looking at me for 5 minutes while I'm talking. All right, so let's talk. The market's going to open here in 2 minutes. So let's talk SPY. This this end of the day action was nice, but I'm going to say it was short covering. I'm going to say it went right back up here, and I'm going to say if it falters in this area, which it looks like in the pre-market, it's already over that area a little bit. But if it were to falter in this area, I think it would be a sell back down to this area. Now, if it was to get on the other side of this area and get accepted up here, possibly going to revert to mean all the way back to mean. Well, the mean is, you can see by the volume profile in this red line right here, the mean is 602. So those are the two scenarios for today, or not for today, for this week. It gets above here, and maybe it gets above here for a day, comes back into this area, finds support, and heads up that way. I'm still not bullish on the overall chart until we get over 600 on a closing basis. I mean, this was a nice rally, but I bet it was mostly short covering. We'll see, though. I mean, we'll see. I mean, they call it market-generated information, and every day you get a little bit more of it. All right. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, ask me. I don't have any content planned out. I just wanted to talk about the volume profile a little bit. So here's the same situation in the Qs. The Qs got way overdone, and then they just bounced a little bit at the end of the day on Friday. Now they have a high volume node up here at 512. They can easily get stuck at. That's been a previous place where there's been a bunch of volume. If they get stuck and faltered there, I might look for lower prices. Now, by the same token, if they get accepted on, over this, it looks like for the chart, we're looking at 522 for kind of a reversion to mean for those guys. And for me to turn bullish on these guys, it would have to get the price would have to get accepted over 522 or over 605 on the SPY, over 522 on the Qs. All right, so the market is probably open now, but that's fine. Here, let's see what Russell's doing. Hopefully I'm sharing my screen. It looks like I am. So this is already going back better than Friday. We're also going to look at option trades. Somebody asked for an option trade Friday, and I gave them one, and it was up $150 as of the other day. We'll see. I bet it's up $200 as of this morning. It was a good looking trade, but if you think we need to take it off, if you think Friday's rally was just short covering, we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, look at this massive gap on the IWM right there. Now, so for these guys are well weaker than the bunch. And even if we did see a rally on the IWM, which is Russell, to the 217 area, or perhaps even higher, I would still probably be looking for shorts for the Russell to revert to mean, or the IWM to revert all the way to mean. It would be 226. And so I would have to get above 226 for me to turn bullish on this. So for now, even though we could be in a strong counter trend rally right now, and it looks like we are, everything's up. Look at this, Coinbase up 7%. Look at that. Would you take a look at that? That's incredible, isn't it? All right, so now let's look at, I know we've looked at SPY, but let's look at SPX because it's a little bit of a different chart. SPX doesn't trade at night, so sometimes it gives us different readings. I can already tell you, I don't like that time frame on SPX. Let's look at the daily bars on SPX. Okay. I know there's a lot of lines on there, and I'm I'm sorry. Please excuse me. Let me try to zoom in on what we need. We could see the point of control for the whole chart on the daily SPX is up here at 6055. And that's about equivalent to 600 on the, or 602, 603 on the SPY chart. Remember, the SPY chart was a shorter time frame. What ought to be interesting to me is to see if we can take this this trend line back. For us to take it back, we'd have to get like over 60.23 today, or or tomorrow. The SPX is reverting to mean it'd be 60.56. I still think it looks weak. I bet it falters. I bet it doesn't take back the trend line and goes like this, and goes further down here. In fact, I'll put a target. I bet you this is the target for the week. Let's see. I'll even do it on here. So we'll see. That's Monday. So that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So how do I make a mark? I don't know how to make a mark. But anyway, Friday at 50.77.90. I think that's the place. I think that's the place it goes to. We'll see. What do you guys think? All right, let's look at some individual stocks now. I know you guys are more into individual stocks, or let's look at that option trade that I showed you guys how to do. Somebody asked for a trade, so here it is, up 272 right now. So I just said it's a bounce idea for next week. We did this Friday morning, so it's pretty much at the lows. I didn't have any idea the market was going to bounce. I just thought since it was down so far, we might as well take the other bet. So what we did is, just to recap, I looked at this probability outcome cone, or there's a better name for that thing. I never can think what to call it. It looks like a ghost. Anyway, I used the first standard deviation hash mark, which is right over here at this 84%, meaning that the first standard deviation contains the move one standard deviation at the time, about 2/3 of the time. 2/3 of the time, the move of the market will be between the negative first standard deviation and the positive first standard deviation. Well, anyway, so we use the positive first standard deviation to set a target to know where to put the call we sold. The other day, it was at 520. Well, now it's moved. Now it's moved to 528. What we could do with this, we could take this $256 off the table and roll this out. This option costs, I hope somebody did this, it costs $3.37. It's already doubled. This one you shorted for one. You're down $1.79 on that one, but you're still up between the two of them, a couple $100. Anyway, if you do have it on, you could either keep it on and you have a little bit, you could either keep it on and hope that its price keeps going up. But if you keep it on and price falters, like I think it might, you could end up losing money. You could roll it out, or you could also roll it out, which just means you would sell these and move the whole structure up again. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We'll just do a whole new trade. We won't close that one. We'll just do it as if it was a new trade. Okay, so we're just going to say build full call spread. That's a new trade. Okay, so I just always put the one at the money. That's $12. That's kind of expensive. Let's see. We need to change the date. I want this to go out to Friday. All right. So we have at the money. Then I put the sold option. I put the bought option at the money, and the sold option wherever the first standard deviation is for the time period I'm looking at, which is 527. So right now the money is. So this cost about $500 to put on. All right, I'm going to change the risk reward a little bit. I like about a 3-to-1 risk to reward. Just lowered my chance of profit, but that's fine. Notice the debit on here is less than the profit on the other trade. This is how I roll out. Take that other trade off, put the $270 in my pocket, and put on it the same trade, adjust the strikes, but maybe adjust the math a little bit if you need to. Put on the same trade for about half as much, something like that. If the market keeps going up over the next week, you're still along for the ride. But if the market doesn't keep going up, you still have a win for the trade. Especially since I think the market's going to reverse. I would do something like this. I would find a way to play it if it keeps going, but spend about half the $277 that you're going to make. So something like that. Make 277, spend 148. Perfect. All right, we'll save this trade, and we're going to call this the rollout. So that's my trade for today, but that's only the trade for today if you did yesterday's trade, if you did Friday's trade. I'll give you an index trade every day, or try to, or we'll see what's going on. All right, save trade, and then back to editor, and then we're going to handle this trade separately. So we're just going to close this one. So we made 234 on one, and then we spent 148 on the other. So made $70 regardless of what happens, but we're still bullish. Want the market to keep going up. All right, we just scalped $78. I think this market's going to turn around. I think $78 is all we're going to make out of that trade, but that's fine. We're fine now, right? All right, guys. Well, let's see what you guys are up to. I'm going to say hi to you guys. Yeah, good morning, SB. Thank you for tuning in. You believe some big changes are going to happen? Hey, Michael, how are you doing? I didn't recognize that was you from the Philippines, Michael Johnson, right? Anyway, I saw you Friday, and I did not acknowledge who you were, but I appreciate you, if that is who you are, which is what I suspect. All right, Dan, good to see you. I have a Dan that's in my comments all the time. I don't know if that's you, but I really enjoyed that Dan that's in my comments. Anyway, good morning, Dan. Okay, let's talk about this real quick. I know SDTY is new, but what are your thoughts on SDTY versus XDTE? I just want to look at the market to make sure it's not getting crushed right now or something. But I'm gonna give you my answer, and I just want to zoom in and see. I'd really like to see this gap remain open, but we'll see. We'll see, because if this gap doesn't remain open, we get on the other side of this. It looks like sellers are still there, and boom, you know what that means. All right, but we shall see. I want to wait a quarter. Give me a quarter. I think that's the minimum time you should judge any fund on. Of course, I like what SDTY is doing because Jay's a friend and he's telling me he's doing good stuff. But I mean, what do I know? It looks good. It looks good, but I want to go a quarter and put it against XDT. I'm going to tell you the moral of the story. The reason I want to do it that way. Or here's what I discovered. I discovered something this weekend before I got sick. I was working on a really good video. I still haven't put it out because I got sick and I haven't done anything on it in a day and a half. But it was a video on XPay. Remember a long time ago, there was a Round Hill fund that comes out that doesn't even sell options. They just own the SPY, and they sell a little bit of SPY shares, and they pay you a target of 20% every month. A lot of people love it, and they do it in a tax efficient manner. So they're giving you back your own money, but in a tax efficient manner. Well, I was trying to think of something funny to say. I'm not naturally that funny. So I said, XPay is going to decay. Anyway, I got all kinds of hell for it. And people said, well, you obviously don't understand how it works and everything. Anyway, well, they were wrong and I was right because a quarter has gone by. And would you take a look at this? And let's do XPay versus WDTE is the one everyone hates. That's the one that is the worst of all of them. And it's beating XPay by a little bit. Look down here, dividends not reinvested is cheating to reinvest dividends. Dividends not reinvested, 3.49 to 311. Now, but look at this. Well, how do you think XPay is doing against like one of the good funds like SPY-T? It's getting throttled. Of course, because it doesn't sell options. SPY-T is selling options. Sometimes option trades make money about 2/3 of the time. Sometimes they lose money about 1/3 of the time. Okay. So, when you're on a losing streak, it looks like the NAV's going down, but no, it's not the NAV going down. It's just the market losing, it's just your trade's losing money. The other 2/3 of the time you aren't having NAV decay. In fact, the NAV's increasing. Well, anyway, everything's spanking SPY-T, and that's exactly what I would expect because SPY-T everything's being XPay because all XPay is doing is selling stock. So think about that. They're selling 20% so they're selling a fifth of the stock. So in a market where, let's say, the price didn't move, and that's not realistic, but if a market where the price went sideways for 5 years, XPay is not a self-sustaining scheme where SPY-T is potentially, ones that I just don't see why XPay just seems like they're giving up. Oh, no, I don't even want to try to sell. I don't even want to try to make money. No, just sell my stock. Just sell my stock and don't take my taxes away. Don't take my taxes. I don't get it. Well, anyway, that just shows you there's a lot of most stuff you hear online is just flat wrong. So, and it's usually the stuff but it always sounds like it always makes sense. But anyway, all right. So that's my rant for today. All right. So let's see what else you guys are up to. But the moral of that story is, so I'm going to wait a quarter and we'll look at SDTE and then we'll look at XDTE versus SDTY after a quarter and we'll see how it does. I'll look at it before a quarter. We'll be testing it all the time. But I think a quarter would be the first fair place to judge it at. That's all I'm saying. All right. So what's going on, Blackwater? You heard there was a large call volume on the VIX. I've been hearing that forever. But now think about that. I've been hearing that for 3 weeks. Let's go back to the charts. So I started hearing that right back around here. Well, no, right back around, I don't know. It was a long time ago. I've been hearing that for maybe late January, early February. Here's early February. When the market was still doing fine, when the market was still 600, 6+, I heard that. So do you think maybe what they knew about was this freaking pullback and they're probably out of that position? Or they've definitely rolled out of it. Now, could we have some more damage between now and March 18th? Yeah. In fact, I think we're going to. I think unless we take 605 back pretty quick, we'll have some damage. So I think it's in the cards. But also, I don't know that whatever those guys thought they knew about may not have been this little blow up here. Let's look at VIX itself, because I've been hearing this since before anything happened. I don't know. It was been a good time to do it. The VIX is at 15. So I've been hearing that forever. So, I don't know what those guys thought they knew, and if this satisfies what they think they knew. But I can guarantee if it were me, I would already be out with profit, and I might have some runners on for some higher prices. But I wouldn't hang my hat on that. What I would watch more closely than that is just the order flow of the market, just how the SPY is handling support and resistance, how it's handling gaps, how it's handling, it's people always say, hang on, I got a freaking alarm going off. People always say, for every buyer, there's a seller. And that's true in the market. For every buyer, there's a seller. It's about who's more aggressive. Are the buyers more aggressive or the sellers more aggressive? It's a market maker system. The market maker will match the orders of people. Who's more aggressive? Is it the buyers or that's what you're looking for, is the aggression of the buyers or the sellers. Yeah, of course, there's always a seller and there's always a buyer. Yeah. All right, I'll stop ranting. I've just been sick all weekend. It's the first time I felt good. So anyway, hey, Mark, appreciate you being here. All right, let's see. Let's read the comments now. It makes sense. Waiting a quarter. Yeah. Yeah, I like Jay. I like Yomex. And that Dave Mazza guy seems wonderful also. Probably if he would have been the guy that came on my show first before Jay, I'd probably been a Round Hill guy. I don't know. But it just so happened the way it worked out. But I'd love to have Dave on. I don't get the idea that the Round Hill guys think real highly of me because I'm kind of critical of their products. I think deservedly so on XPay, but I was critical of XDTE and was wildly wrong about that. Wildly wrong. So, it is what it is. I just look at the strategy and I'll tell you this much. When you don't sell options at night, that's great in a market that goes up. And since markets usually go up, that's fine. But in a market that goes down, the OG Defiance funds will throttle, SDTY or QDTE or any of those ones that do the little half day options. But anyway, markets don't go down, so it's not that big of a deal. So it don't seem to go down, or lately they do for a week, and then they bounce. But I think that for some reason, I just think this is more serious this time. We'll see. I said the same thing in August, and I was wrong about August. But we were able to make some pretty good money into the pullback in August. I was right enough to make good money off it. But yeah, Blackwater and I are on the same page. Okay, so you guys want to look for an option trade for today? Let me show you one for today. I've already showed you the rollout. So on that trade, we're going to make $75 regardless of what happens. So now, that's per contract. Do it 10 times if that's not big enough for you. You can do my trades multiple times, but we're doing them in units of one for beginners. But the rollout trade is already down $16. That's fine. Okay, so now let's do the opposite because it kind of rallied and it looked to me like it faltered. I'm calling today faltered. So let me show you how I did the opposite trade. We're going to do a bear put spread. We're going to buy puts, in other words, and we're going to buy puts in a bearish manner. We're going to buy a put and sell a put, but we're mainly a buyer of puts. Which one's the weakest? We'll do it on the Qs. We'll do it on the Qs. We'll do it on the SPY. I did the other one on the Qs. We'll do it on the SPY. Okay, so we're going to look at our ghost or whatever it is, probability cone, or I know there's a name for this. Distribution. There's something with a distribution curve or something, and it always looks like it's a bell curve. It's anyway. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put the short option where the target is, and not knowing anything else. Oh, we're going to go out a week. Let's go out to Friday. All right, and not knowing anything else, we're gonna look at where the first standard deviation is around 580. So we'll put our 581, something like that. We'll put a 581. And then I'm going to put this one at the money just for starters. And then I adjust it to make the risk reward. I move it a little out of the money sometimes to boost the risk rewards to make it 3-to-1. Yep, there we go, 3-to-1. So now I have a 34% chance of profit. You know, if the most I want to make on this trade is $827 if the trade traders. But we're going to roll it just like the other one. We'll make 500, take it off the table, and try to make another 500. If it keeps going down, we'll keep rolling it. Anyway, so that is the trade for today. That is just a bearish, obviously a bearish, a way to, if you're bearish, this might be a way to play for the end of the week. Bearish trade for this week. All right, so we'll follow that, see how it does. Oh, shoot. And I'm going to put that in the comments right now in case anyone wants to do that. Say trade, copy link, copy, boom, bam. I hope someone did the trade the other day, and I hope they're out of it already. I hope they got out of it on the open. But anyway, there's that trade for you guys. All right, guys. Well, I guess I'm going to let you guys go because I really do want to work on that XPay. I need to get the XPay video finished. And I really think you guys will like it. And but anyway, but back to but I don't hate Round Hill. I'd love for Dave Mazza to come on. Like I say, I just don't think the Round Hill guys like me a lot. So let's check my email together. It may be dangerous to look at my email with you guys. I'm just trying to see if what's his name? It doesn't look like I guess what's his name? Doesn't like us. I will from Granite Shares. Well, anyway, hopefully he'll be getting back with us soon. All right, guys. Well, unless you have any more questions, I'm going to let you guys get out of here. Dan, you have a good one too. See ya.